Hi, I went to the cinema this weekend and saw Late Night with the Devil, the much anticipated new film from twin directors Colin and Cameron Cairnes, and starring David Dastmalchian. He plays Jack Gilroy, a TV late night talk show host in the 1970s who has had great success over the last few years, but is now struggling somewhat, particularly following the death of his wife from cancer. His big plan for one last turnaround for the show is a Halloween special where he invites on a psychic and, rather more importantly, the survivor of a satanic suicide cult, a young teenage girl, and the doctor who's caring for her. However, events quickly get out of hand, and things might have been seeded sometime earlier to bring to this eventuality. The film's presented as though it's the master tape of the original recording, that it was broadcast live, but this is the first time it's been seen in full. And it's interspersed with supposed behind the scenes sequences that are really just third person dramatic camera. The film has been quite controversial and subject to a lot of discussion because it includes AI generated images. As is standard, there are on screen graphics and captions to indicate when the ad breaks come in. And these, for some reason, the film's directors have decided to use AI generated pictures rather than those created by their own graphic design department. Given that these were actually added after the film had originally premiered, and therefore after they had we had the strikes last year by the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild of the United States, in protest at the use of AI to threaten their jobs, it's very strangely tone deaf that they should decide to include them here. There is no reason to do this other than to save money and not pay a human being to do this. So there's a very big black mark against the film already. I was wondering whether or not I might accidentally go and see it by mistake over the weekend, having bought a ticket to, for example, see Wonka again. I might accidentally wander into the wrong screen. But as it turned out, there were very few seats in the screening anyway, so I thought it was best to make sure that I was buying it for Late Night with the Devil after all. However, overall, I didn't actually find the film that impressive. It seemed to be very poorly paced, quite a problem with releasing too much information, too much backstory too quickly. The digital effects used in the film to convey various supernatural goings on really stuck out in comparison to the old fashioned video look of much of the rest of the movie. I found it very derivative as well. It owes a huge debt to the 1992 British television film Ghostwatch, which also imagines a supernatural event taking over a live TV broadcast. That is a masterpiece of slow burn writing and directing and authenticity, particularly hiring regular TV hosts whom the audience would recognize rather than actors. And its effect has been felt down the decades. It's still regarded as a masterpiece. But it also owes a debt, but this film owes a debt, I think, to other programs like Black Mirror, Inside Number 9, and the play and subsequent film Ghost Stories. Um, I just found it to be really quite. It didn't have the coherence that it needed. The breakaway from the idea of this being a broadcast master tape shows that they really didn't have the commitment to stick to um, its own concept, and that combined with how derivative it is and how corners were cut in creating the graphic design really shows that the directors didn't really have that much faith in their own concept, that they were unwilling to put the work in to make this stand out, to make this original and bold and creative, and instead relying on cheap get outs. I found it to be really quite unsatisfactory. The ending, in particular, I found to be particularly unimaginative in the wild, divergent directions it goes off in. Um, I don't recommend this film. I mean, the use of AI is an immediate strike against it. and it would be very, very hard to come back from that. But as it turns out, it's not actually especially good anyway. I would very highly recommend Ghostwatch, which is available on Blu-ray. It may still be available on DVD as well. It's very, very good. There are episodes of Inside Number 9 and Black Mirror that are exceptional. The film Ghost Stories was exceptional. I would highly recommend seeing the stage version if the opportunity arises. They are all templates for what Late Night with the Devil is trying to do, but it never has the desire or the will to actually follow through on its intent. And as a result, it just looks lazy and sloppy.